And I'm also going to share my screen here for the PowerPoint. Alrighty. All right, so to begin, I'd like to introduce our outreach team. We have Harleen Kaur, who's our field organizer for high school chapters. She couldn't make it to the webinar today because she had class, but she's the one high school chapters should definitely reach out to. Ugo Ndife, who's our field organizer for college chapters. This is me right here, National Outreach Coordinator for new chapters. And Amala, who's also on this webinar, who's our advocacy coordinator. So Amala will begin with some background on Burma.
Yeah, so as you can tell from the name, this webinar is about Burma, and we wanted to talk to you a little bit about the ethnic conflict that's going on, especially against the Rohingya. So if you should be able to see on the screen is a map of Burma, which is also known as Myanmar. We use the name that was given to it by the democratically elected leaders, not by the military government. And just to go to the next slide, as I said, we're going to be focusing primarily on the Rohingya, who are a primarily Muslim ethnic minority in the Rakhine state. In 1982, they were officially stripped of their citizenship by the Burmese government, so they're effectively stateless. They're viewed as illegal immigrants, but they don't really have another country that they can go to. They face a lot of discrimination and violence against them, and in 2012, state-sponsored violence pushed more than 120,000 people into modern-day concentration camps where they have no access to basic services like healthcare, education, or livelihood. They have very little aid, so people are starving and dying in these camps, and they have no freedom of movement at all. So despite having a claim to this land and having lived in Burma for many centuries, they've been forced into these camps. In August of 2017, a small group of Rohingya militants attacked military officers at an outpost, and as a result, the Burmese government cracked down against the entire Rohingya minority. So since then, we've really seen state-sponsored violence against them escalate. Over 650,000 people were pushed over the border, and just to put that number in perspective, the entire Rohingya population is only about 1 million people in total, so more than half of them have been forced to flee and become refugees. Survivors who make it over the border to Bangladesh have told stories of babies being beheaded and thrown into fires, things like entire villages being burned down, and systematic sexual abuse at the hands of the military. So there are countless human rights abuses going on. Both countries, Burma and Bangladesh, are trying to send the Rohingya back to Burma, have been talking about that, and trying to move them somewhere else. But the Rohingya themselves don't want to go back to Burma, as that would effectively be a death sentence. So recently, the government announced plans to send them to an uninhabitable island off the coast. So essentially, right now, they have nowhere that they can go.
All right, thanks, Amala. So now we'll discuss a little bit about the U.S. approach the approach we would want the U.S. to take to stand against the conflict in Burma through legislation. And there are two main pieces of legislation that are related to the conflict in Burma. There's a House version and a Senate version. So the House, H.R. 4223, the Burma Unified Through Rigorous Military Accountability Act, or just the Burma Act, and Senate S. 2060, the Burma Human Rights and Freedom Act. Both of these impose financial sanctions and visa restrictions on top military officials in Burma. They also forbid U.S. financial institutions from engaging with these individuals, and it prohibits U.S. military assistance to the Burmese military until it shows significant progress in addressing human rights issues. And it also requires a report to Congress on mass atrocities in Burma by the Secretary of State And within this report, some kind of statement on the feasibility of transitional like justice mechanisms within 90 days of the passage of this legislation. So if this legislation is passed within 90 days, this report has to be submitted to Congress. Now, an important thing to note is that both bills are bipartisan. House Resolution 4223 has 19 co-sponsors, and Senate 2060 has 17. And so this brings us to how STAND is kind of connecting our love for like various campaigns, as you guys have probably seen, or various social media campaigns, and our connection with this legislation. So what we're doing for Valentine's Day is a Roses for Rohingya campaign to address the conflict in Burma. So not only raising money, but also raising awareness. And we'll do this specifically since it's Valentine's Day themed. We'll be selling roses and other Valentine's Day themed treats on campus or online. And all proceeds will go to the Nexus Fund, who is supporting projects both for those displaced by violence and to support local activists working to reconcile communities and prevent future violence, and also to reduce hate speech in Burma against the Rohingya. So like there are various steps you can take to start this campaign, and I'll kind of outline a timeline or a set of steps that you guys can take. But obviously each person will be different, each campus is different, each school is different. So you might find that your approach differs or varies from the one that I'll present here right now, and that's totally okay. We're really strong supporters of flexibility and kind of going outside of the box with these campaigns. So definitely like take it and make it your own on your campus. So step one here would be to contact local florists and chocolatiers to ask for discounts and donations. And then you can find a place to sell these products or set up an online order form. One good like place on a campus would be like a really central place where there's a lot of traffic with students passing by, like a student center or like an atrium in your high school or something like that. The third step would be to advertise and sell those goodies, obviously. So advertisement is obviously a big factor here, because people need to know about this campaign in order for you to be able to sell anything, right? So make sure that you're posting flyers and really spreading the word about your campaign. And then once you've gotten donations or sold some of these goods, you can make your donation via Venmo, PayPal, or check. And you can see our guide that's linked here for more details. So does anyone have any questions, ideas, or discussion topics? No one has any questions? All right. So if you don't right now, maybe you forgot your questions that you thought of previously, you can reach out to us, any one of us, using these email addresses. You can also find all our information on the STAND website. And you can reach out to us at any point with any questions that you might have, and we'd be happy to walk you through the campaign and discuss a little bit with how you can implement it on your campus specifically. All right, so with that, thank you guys for coming to our webinar. My computer is frozen right now, so this is a great end to the webinar. But yeah, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you guys for showing up.
Thanks, Farida.
Bye.